What's good, YouTube? Cardfight King here. AQUA Life Baby, you already know. First and foremost, thank you guys for the birthday wishes. Really appreciate it. Second off, um, sorry I didn't get. Sorry for the echo. Actually, I'm in my mom's place and we don't have enough furniture to cancel out the echo at this moment. But yeah. And then third off, sorry I didn't get the video out, guys, when I originally intended to. I've been very busy. Someone got fired at work, so I picked up a lot of her extra shifts, and then you know, I was busy, had to do stuff with the MVA. So I just been very busy these past few days. My time's been very limited. So, and I haven't had much free time to be alone and actually do this video because I got family, whatever, around the house, whatnot. But I'm excited. Let's get into this answer video, and then I gotta go to work. So we got my boy Final C Turn asking, do I think the Redskins or Spire Brothers will win in the matchup between them two? The Washington Redskins is my favorite team, Washington, D.C., Maryland boy, it's me. I think the Redskins win, considering the way that we played against the Giants. Our defense was able to hold them to 0 points to the fourth quarter. I think that we should be able to survive the Spike Brother, break right turn, and we have a lot more stamina throughout the game. I think that we'll be able to put points on the board early. Spire Brothers will be able to score a few here and there, but I don't think that they're going to have enough stamina to last the entire game. So I think we'd win 27-13 pretty soundly. My boy Jock Herbert asked, what decks did I play against and how well did I stack up against said decks? He was asking that in reference to when I was the video because I was coming back from locals. I answered that question in another video, the video after that one, but I'll just reiterate it. I played against Ezel round one. They don't touch your back row, so you can establish your back row pretty soundly. And so except for I won game 1 and 3 just pretty much the same way. We established a back row effectively, forced some nice early damage on, had really effective title board turns, and was able to finish it off on Lambros. Game 2, I got great. I was actually great locked, and I was drawing into nothing but perfect guards and triggers, and it was just not good. And then round two, I played against Token Rambu. Was able to win that 2-0. And then round 3, I played against my teammate who was playing Token Rambu. Game 1, he sacked me. Game 2, I sacked him. Game 3, I was just able to capitalize on him having the G assist to put a lot of pressure and damage on board, then finish it off with Lambros. Then my boy Kaiser Gray asks, do I think Marine Jones Sebastian will be good in any of the 3 Legion decks? No, I don't. I personally right now I don't think he's going to be too good because Michael and Milos, Tetra Burst, Starless and Milos need to be in Legion. Your Vanguard need to be, especially the Grade 1. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but the Grade 1 that's Wheel Assault for Legion, they need you to be in Legion, and because Stride takes that, Stride is not considered in Legion, it kind of hurts the deck too, but Sebastian, in terms of ride consistency, if you're on him, then those cards will not work. You need to be in Legion as often as possible, as well as maybe a backup Vanguard, maybe run him at 2 copies, because I believe that you need to run a card at least at 2 copies to see it at an effective number, unless you have the ability to superior call. In that case, you could probably run 1 because the chances of you damage checking or seeing it within the game is pretty low. So yeah, right now I just don't think he's good. Plus, I don't like the fact that he's an on-hit effect. I think there's a lot more things that are a bit better that are guaranteed right now. So I'm just not a big fan of him in the deck. But if you find a way to put him in the deck, if you find him to be very effective in the deck and whatnot, let me know. We could talk about it. We could try it out. I'll look at things from your point of view. I'll see things from my point of view, see how it meshes well together, and yeah, get to collaborating. Darren Mullen asked, how do I play against heavy field disruption decks like Brawlers or Gear Kronks? I tend to rush them or try to overwhelm them with attacks, but what is my approach? Since you are playing a Thavas deck, I can say against those decks, just Thavas has a really good field recovery. So again, it takes into consideration your build. Orthea is a great card against those decks, having the resist skill. When the clan boots come out, Skiros giving our front row resist is very, very, very clutch against those matchups. It gives us a great alternate Vanguard to purposely ride so that we can effectively counter their strategies. But against them, what I generally try to do is I try to follow just 3 rules against you, because obviously player tendency. You might have one player who's playing those decks who is very retire heavy, who wants to eradicate your board as often as possible. Then you have some players who are more selective, more careful about how they want to do it and what they choose to do. Where you're going to have to play they'll try and retire a few target things here and there, and then play around whatever else you're going to bring at them. So you have 2 different types of players when it comes to those type of decks. But at the same time, um, you know, one thing is work on your short field combos, which is a small field but getting effective amount of battles, fourth battles, making a really effective turn, then leaving your opponent with a field that's less desirable for them to retire and get rid of. Another thing is having a follow-up turn. Obviously, follow-up turn is hypothetical because you're not guaranteed to draw into much or have these cards in hands. But like if you have you have a small field setup, you're able to get a lot of pressure on board. Then your stuff's going to get blown the next turn. But then your follow-up turn, you have cards in hand where you can get your fourth valve and get the same amount or a greater amount of pressure on your opponent depending on what you saved up in your hand. So there's that, but again, that's hypothetical depending on what you do draw into and things like that. So those are those things. And another thing is also look at the meta. Obviously when that comes into deck building, when it gets into deck building, what do you think you're going to be playing against mostly? Change your deck accordingly. Like you instead of playing 3 Stacia, make it 3 Orthea, things like that. Especially with your Thavas deck, run Saberflow Sailor. Saberflow Sailor is a godsend. I watched my boy Ice Cream Phantom use him in a Team No Guard video, and I've been on her ever since. She's just been a godsend. Clearing herself off the board, leaving your opponent with a less than desirable field for them to get rid of, and getting to draw 2 cards, adding to your hand. So it gives you the chance to have a much better follow-up turn. So that's definitely a plus there. But definitely certain decks we can outpace them. We can definitely outpace like brawlers and things like that. But brawlers are probably the hardest one to outpace because they boast a 13k base and they can hit the entire field and get around resist. But against like Gear Kronk and Kagero, don't fall into their pace. Try and if you can outpace them, outpace them. It just, different decks require different strategies, especially as it goes along with player tendencies. And you don't really find out the player tendencies unless it's like midway, late into game 1. And if you guys go into game 2, you should probably know how they are, unless, you weren't able to play in SAC and whatnot. But, with the Thavas deck, there's a lot of versatility, especially with the Clan Booster coming out, where we can definitely counteract against these field destruction type decks with alternate Vanguard riding and resist skills. My boy, let's see. Let's see. All right, and we got... Oh, snap, I skipped over him. Okay, Brian Pearson, sorry. He asked, who am I more a fan of, Leon or Jaime? Sorry if it's spelled the name. Leon is my favorite character. One, he travels with Jillian Shirley. He's the only one that travels around with 2 girls at his beck and call. So, I mean, that's pimping right there. He's all full of swagger. But secondly, he plays Legendary Aqua Force. He's always, talked about, being in competition with... Rin and stuff, and Rin and Kai are considered like the best characters in the entire show, and Leon's right up there. He's always in competition with Rin and whatnot. So, and he's the clan master of Aqua Force. So, he's just my favorite character overall. He's what got me, playing Aqua Force, from watching him through the anime as well as a picture of Maelstrom. So, yeah. I was actually rooting for him to beat Aichi in, season 2, but that's just me. So yeah, it's Leon. And then, Jaime and Ibuki are my other 2 favorites, but Leon's my overall favorite. Then we have Reverse Fight asking, if would I prefer Aqua Force to be only clan supported and everyone use Aqua Force, or Aqua Force never to be supported again and I can't use them? Well, I would want everyone to use Aqua Force, and I can play Aqua Force, because my whole thing is that as a competitor, I want to be the best Aqua Force player be the best overall Aqua Force player. And if it means me fighting against other Aqua Force players, that just gives me more chances to show that I can be the most skilled Aqua Force player. I'm the best one out of all the other Aqua Force players. And if I'm not able to play Aqua Force, in Vanguard, then I'd probably quit because Aquaforce is my thing. It's my favorite. It's my baby right there. So that's pretty much what I would have to say about that. I would rather have everyone play Aquaforce, where it gives me the chance to show everyone that I am one of the best Aquaforce players as a competitor. Not being cocky or anything, but I am a competitor. I like to compete, and my whole goal as a competitor is to be the best, the very best I can be, whether it's with Aquaforce, with anything else I play, and just overall. Let's see. Enclave said locals at Island yesterday. No, I didn't go to Island. I don't go to Island games. That's not my main. My main locals is Chibi Cards and Games, but we just went under new ownership. But I'll probably go to. I haven't been there since the Dynasty Cup, but I'll probably go there sometime, a few times next year for some locals. And when the Dynasty Cup goes there again. Haruki Nasu asks, if I could main any other clan other than Aquaforce, what would it be and why? And what got me into Vanguard and why has it become my favorite card game out of all of them? I would main Link Jokers. I love Link Jokers to death. I love their control, their mechanic. Chaos Breaker is one of my top 5 favorite units in the game. I just love Chaos Breaker and whatnot. It's just he was probably the Link Joker deck I had the most consistent success with. Even though I did really good with Blaster Joker, I only played him for about a month when he was viable till Stride came out. And Nebula Lord, I played him for a while, and I wasn't really too familiar with Glendale's because I was away at college and I wasn't here for set 15 meta in the beginning of Legion. So I will but Link Joker overall is just my favorite. I love it to death, and that's my second favorite clan other than Aquaforce. And what got me into Vanguard was literally a picture of Maelstrom. I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh at the time, and I was playing Mermaids and Frogs, and then I saw a picture of Maelstrom. Long story short, a bunch of my friends were a bunch of my core friends got into Vanguard and were playing. I started watching the anime, and then I probably when I was watching the tournament when Aichi was playing against Goki, who was a team leader of Team Hans and whatnot, I was like, all right, cool. Sold, because I was like 2 seasons behind, but I sold all my Mermaid and Frog stuff. I got a bunch of boxes. I built a dark irregular, a really janky dark irregular deck with an SP Amon and a Grand Blue deck with like a SP Ruin Shade and whatnot. But it was all just waiting for when the Aquaforce trial deck came out in America, and day one picked 4 copies up and went on from there. And it's because my favorite card games, because I'm just not a big fan of the community in Yu-Gi-Oh. I do like Yu-Gi-Oh still. I like, the game. I like keeping up with it. If I don't play it at all, but I do like the game Yu-Gi-Oh. But, yeah, and I'm not a big, I don't like Magic. I don't like Force of Will. I tried Force of Will. It just didn't work out for me. So, yeah, it's just my favorite game. It's, the anime was great then, not the Legion arc, that was terrible, but anime was great. The card game is great, made a lot of friends. I've made a lot of friends playing Vanguard. Gabe, Donald Paris 21, Juan Mango, Zag, all of them. Just, met them through Vanguard. Geocon asked, can I do a match video against Midcon and explain ways to counter deck both machining and dark phase builds with Aquaforce? I can do a match video against Midcon, waiting for my friend to get the rest of his stuff in, and when he gets his stuff in, we can do a video when I go there for playtest night, and explain ways to counter deck. I'll do that in another video. I need to get more experience against them. My boy Edward Leon beat me in round 6 of the Dynasty Cup with them before we both made top 8, but it was a hard matchup because Dark Phase, with machining with skill, was able to build souls, stun my unit when I brought it out, so you got to play around that skill. But the fact that they're able to stun the Vanguard is very hard, and the set 4 support is just so good. And so, again, we don't have a lot of Mega Colony players around here that I've been able to play, that I've played against. We don't have many Mega Colony players in general, so I haven't been exposed to that deck as often as I would like to have been, so I can get some good experience against it. But I can definitely say when the clan booster comes out, Consider your options. Consider resist units. Consider, again, working with short field combos. Effectively managing their counter blast. They got a counter blast for a lot of their skills. So if you can just swing at their sides, force them not to get a counter blast, and unless they got the unflipping perfect guard, and the unflipping perfect you need to attack a Vanguard for anyway. So probably keep a smaller field, know when to explode, control their counter blast. That's just some general things. But again, I do need to gain some more experience against mega colonies, and I'll definitely get more in depth with that in another video. And let's see. Adonjir as if hashtag Aqua Life Baby was removed from the game and no longer term at legal, what would I do? I probably would quit. If I can't play Aqua Force, even though Link Joker is my second favorite clan, then I'd probably quit. Aqua Force is just, my thing. It's my shtick. So, yeah. Geocon once again asks, am I going to make a deleter stride build? Probably no, I'm not. I have a friend and I can get a deck profile and probably a few matches of it because my boy has them, but I'm just not a big fan of it right now. I don't like the fact that they don't put at least stop your opponent from striding, but they don't even at least put a condition on your opponent where it's like drop 2 before you pay the cost to stride. They don't even put a condition before you stride. So I'm just not a big fan of where they are now. Even though their offensive delete turn is good, it's kind of like playing against reverse Dayusha to me. And the fact that you can still stride is kind of like, well, yeah, you can still stride. Calvin now asks, what is the best deck in Aqua Force and why? If you're asking after the clan booster, I still have yet to determine that. To me right now, it's a 3-way tie after the clan booster between Ripples, Thavas, and Tetraboil. But pre-clan booster, Thavas is the best deck. I think Maelstrom is in second place due to the fact that it has a weaker stride turn and a lot of the other cards in the Aqua Force don't really play off of Maelstrom stride turn a lot like they do Thavas in an effective manner, as well as Thavas has a better recovery to field disruption. It's not really reliant on the Rascal Sweeper column, even though I do like the Rascal Sweeper column. It can mess up your Lambros turn because they can do like a double intercept, then force your Magnum Assault to do what you didn't really want it to do. Whereas in Thavas, I don't play Couple Dagger Sailor. I like her, and I'm probably going to try her out in another build because I have another playset of Thavas and whatnot. But I'm just not a fan of what she does, and I think there's some better options that you could play. But Couple Dagger is still a very good card to me, guys. You can definitely bring some good early game if you draw into her. So I'm definitely gonna try her out. I'm not ruling her out, but as how I've been playing it right now, I'm just not a big fan of her. But back to Thavas, I think Thavas is still it's probably the best deck that we have right now. And when the clan booster comes out, he's getting Skiros as the backup Vanguard, so he gives us an out to field disruption, whatnot. So for that question, I would have to say that I like Thavas as the best deck as we have it right now, compared to Maelstrom, which I think would be the second best, and then probably the Legions are probably last, because Legion, which sucks, okay, but Legion doesn't work with stride. The Legion doesn't work because when you stride over your Legion Vanguard, you're no longer considering Legion, meaning Starless, Milos, and the Great One, I can't remember his name for the life of me, the Great One Wheel Assault for Legion does not work, and that really sets me off. So there's that. Ricky Firefist asks, am I planning on building the new Grand Blue stuff when the trial deck and GB206 come out? And what do I think of Night Rose? I like Night Rose. I'm not a big fan of her GB2 skill at this moment in time. Mill 3, bring back a unit that was gone from the rearguard circle. So you could probably maybe call back a Banshee, and then Soul Blast wouldn't draw, or the Cutlass or something like that, or bring a Grade 2 for defense, something like that. I don't know. But I like her Stride Break skill, Counter Blast 1, bring a unit back, give it plus 2k, and it stays on the field. I like that, stuff's not going back like the Captain Night Mist and stuff. I don't like, I do like it, but I don't like the fact that they have to mill things. I don't like that. I wish they had more selective milling and whatnot, and I'm interested to see what new strides they get, because Blue Heart to me is an embarrassment as a stride card, especially for Grand Blue. So I am planning on building it, but I'm just not a big fan of like Blue Heart and stuff, and I'm just hopeful that the new support that they're getting, improves upon their drop zone mechanic, better than just milling cards. Also, if you are milling cards, do they have a way of, getting cards back into their deck so they can add some longevity, or have stuff that when it's milled you can call it out or get certain effects, things like that. Let's see. Kenneth Whitten asks, "Do I think Raging Form will come back?" No, I don't. I think he is like a lie deck's just too slow, and he's a few formats behind. Abyss does the restanding thing a lot better, and even though they have a limit break enabler, I think right now, obviously Revenger is the best deck, and Clarence Sword is probably the second best deck because he builds up a lot of advantage, and Raging Form is I just don't think he's competitively viable at this point in time. I think, again, he's a few formats behind. Brian Pearson once again asks, "Do I think Demetrius is the back with Thavas deck?" No. To me right now, break riding, especially in Aqua Force, is really slow. It's going to slow down your deck. And in the Thavas deck, we have cards like Adelaide coming out and Miliana and things like that, and you need a Thavas Vanguard for that, so you want to be on Thavas as often as possible. And just, Demetrius is once again too slow. He works better in a Blue Storm deck, and plus he works better with stand triggers, and stand triggers are not as effective in Aqua Force as they once were, and so he also has to be kind of like your Vanguard would have to be the fourth battle. I mean, if you're on him and you're striding and you're in that position where you have to break ride him and you can use Thavas' GB2 skill, then by all means that's pretty nice, but that's just a hypothetical one-turn play, and I just think that he's a bit slow, and Thavas' ability to have some field control with being able to make your opponent choose a unit to retire, I think is very, very good for field control. And without that, Demetrius does take the way. And especially with Skiros coming out, Skiros adds that ability to fight against field destruction and field control by giving your front row resist, and then you able to better purposely ride him against those decks and have a much better time against field disruption than you would Demetrius when he comes out. But right now you could probably try him out, but I'm just not a big fan of his ability and break rides in this format. It's a bit too fast. And then Vanguard Knight asks if my brother and I have discussed, about the new Eradicator support with Gauntlet, Descendant, Tempest Bolt, and the new strike cards that come out. And do we think that the Eradicators are going to come back into the competitive scene? I don't think they are. I think right now, a lot of people are playing them, I think due to hype, so to speak. When something new when something gets revived, it comes out, you're going to play it for a while. Then, a month down the road, a few weeks down the road, then they're going to be like, it's not really that great. Stacks up against certain decks. But I think Brawlers are still the best, especially with the new support that came out for Brawlers. Just a crit trigger that gives any Brawler unit the Legion Mate ability to gain power if your Brawler Vanguard hits something, and a better version of Arc where he doesn't require you to be in Legion and he's 7k. It's just really good. It gives the deck a lot more options to boost their field when they hit multiple units. They boast a 13k cross ride defense, and are able to hit an entire field. Eradicators can start retiring things a little early on, with retires here and there, but sometimes a lot of it's like select your opponent selects what they want to retire, and giving your opponent options is not what I'm all about. It's just not what we like. And Brawlers get around resist, being able to just punch anything they want. So we just think Brawlers are going to be the best deck right now and going forward with future support. And I think that people are going to probably play Eradicators in competitive events, but when you compare what decks in Narukami is going to be competitive, Brawlers are probably going to take the cake. Even though the deck is, can get outpaced a little bit, same as Eradicators, we think Brawlers are just going to be the best deck overall. All right, so that's it for the questions, guys. Thank you for the questions. I'm about to head out to work. We'd like to do this again sometime after the clan booster comes out. Hope I answered all of your questions that you had. If you have any more questions, just post them on the video, and I'll probably answer you guys in the comment section below. I'm gonna have some new Aqua Force content coming out. We're going to have some box openings. We're going to have some pre-release stuff. So get excited. AQUA Life, baby. Happy new Aqua Force Day is only a few days away. All right, we out.